going on, everybody, and welcome back. So in this one we're gonna take a little cruise. So this is the first video with everything together. I guess I'll take you guys for a walk around and just kind of go over everything. And yeah, so basically I spent this whole winter doing a 5-lug conversion on the car. So the 5-lug conversion is complete. I ended up using Odyssey front knuckles as well as calipers, brackets for them, and the rotors that I all got from the junkyard. I used the same hubs, but I got new bearings and I pressed them in. So that's a new part there. And then I went ahead and did polyurethane bushings on the lower control arm and on the upper control arm. And I got used upper control arms because I had put Detroit axle ones on here and they don't have the same bushing size. So I got new uppers, but they're not new, they're used, and I think they may need upper ball joints. I gotta check them, they're a little bit beat. But it's driving okay for now. I haven't heard the snapping that I heard when I first put them on. The rears are Prelude. First off, I got knuckles from a 90. Oh wow, we got a helicopter going on here, hang on. Disc in the rear, just because this is an LX, not an EX. I kind of prefer it that way because I like the no sunroof look. It's nice and clean and I don't have to worry about water leaks and stuff, although a sunroof would be nice, but it is what it is. I'm willing to settle. But anyway, this guy right here had drums and I hate drums, so I wanted to convert it. So I got all the brake parts and the knuckles from a 94 to 97 EX, which had the rear discs. So I took all that stuff as well as the brake hoses and the e-brake cables. So that was just all the stuff that you're going to need there because there's a lot of different stuff to get with all that. And I think that was everything that I needed, just the loaded knuckle with all the stuff on it. And then what I did was got 5-lug Prelude rear hub and bearing assemblies together, and I just bolted those in the back. So brand new Prelude stuff for this, which was not too bad. All eBay stuff, pretty cheap. I really cheaped out on it. And what I should have done was take a 6th gen Accord spindle, which I think is the correct one, press it into this knuckle, and then I would have the correct depth on this guy so that I am contacting the actual washer is not bottoming out on the bearing on the races, because right now I'm clamping the races together because I don't have enough shaft engagement. So what I did was get a Mazda 626, I think that's what it is, Mazda 626 axle nut from the rear. I found one at the junkyard miraculously, and I ended up taking the nut from there. So what it's doing is clamping the races on the bearing, which is not ideal. It's not really what you want, but for me, seems as though it's staying where I put it. I did stake it to make sure that it didn't come loose. I tried to stake it, but I did mark it with a pen marker. You guys may think this is hood or this is sketch, and I understand that it is, and it should be clamped on the actual stub shaft itself here that comes out, and the washer and everything like that. But this is how I'm going to run it for now. Maybe someday I'll do it the correct way, but for now I'm just going to keep checking on it. I'm going to continue to drive it and check on it. But I used a bunch of Loctite and I hit it with my Milwaukee on full strength, bunch of uggas until it wouldn't ugga anymore. And I just don't think it's going to prematurely wear out the bearing because the races can only be clamped together so much unless you're deforming it, which I don't think that I would do. So I believe that that's as good as it gets. So I'm going to just keep an eye on it and check both sides often before I put center caps on. And then once I put center caps on, I'll just check it on every rotation and make sure it hasn't shifted. But that red Loctite is not supposed to come apart, and I really jammed it on there. So I don't think I'm going to have any problems, but it is what it is. That's just the way it goes. This side is actually, the side that would be technically loosening if you're spinning this way. I just don't think, as long as the bearing rides free, we shouldn't have any problems. I know it's not ideal. Maybe someday I'll fix it, like I said. But moving on, you got the taillights, which I will show you guys. Let me go key it up, turn them on. And they are still working, thankfully. Not that I doubted it, but sometimes I wonder how long they will last. Is it going to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and I guess we'll just have to see. Remains to be seen, but they're working like a champ. They are really bright in the daytime, it seems like, and the brake lights are as well. I haven't had any problems. But yeah, the wheels are looking good. I did do the alignment. I have the alignment sheet inside. I should show you guys that. But Yeah, basically I'm rocking around 1 degree of negative camber all the way around, just for handling purposes, I guess. And the front is non-adjustable. Like I said, upper control arms are non-adjustable stock in the front, so can't adjust it, and that's just where it sits at this ride height. I am contemplating dropping it a bit in the front because it does sit what looks like to be maybe a ½ inch higher on a hill like this, but on level ground it might be closer to a quarter or an eighth of an inch higher in the front. I think I could afford to lower it a little bit. I do not rub anywhere at all, so I might lower it a little bit, but I don't really want to rub anywhere, and I don't want to have it too low. So I'm gonna try to probably lower it at some point, not right now, but yeah. Other than that, the only real things I have to finish on the exterior are the windshield moldings. I got to figure out what I'm doing with that. These pieces, I have a couple. They're in the best shape, but they're in decent shape, so I may try to put those guys on. Hopefully there's not too much glue here to worry about, and I don't know. We'll see what happens, and I gotta get a piece for up here too. But I have some plans for the rear glass here. I have a molding that I want to use. I want to try to just lay a bead in here of sealant, and then run it in and tape it, and hopefully it dries and looks pretty good. That way I won't have to remove the glass. And once I know that that's going to work, I will peel the tint here, and I'm going to pay somebody to tint it because I can't tint a back glass. I just can't. Apparently I cannot handle it. So that's just what it's going to be. I'm going to have to pay somebody to do it. So I think I will do that, and then I might redo the side glasses at a later date. But I just need to do the back glass for now because it looks so nasty with all the little wrinkles in it. But other than that, the car's all full of pollen, even though I washed it yesterday. But that's just the New England stuff there, the Northeast. You got all this pollen. I assume it's everywhere too, but I know it's pretty major out here. Anyway, that's the overview of the car. A couple things I've been looking into today. I was on my way home and I had a little bit of breaking up issue, so I checked it, and one of the spark plug wires seems like it's kind of loose and worn out. I jammed it back on. I'm going to take it for a quick ride, see if the problem is gone. If it's not gone, we may have some other problems there. But I was thinking about taking the laptop along, maybe doing a little bit of tuning, just brushing up on a couple things here and there, seeing if I can tweak some stuff with any new knowledge that I have, or just make the car run overall better, because it always needs tweaking. I'm an amateur tuner, so there's always things I could improve on. So I'm going to go ahead and mess with the tune, and I'll take you guys along for the ride. So I got the laptop taken out of the truck. I've had it in the truck for a while because I was planning on doing some tuning on that. Haven't really got around to it yet, but I did get HP tuners, and I want to learn how to do that. But it's just been tough trying to get this thing ready and that at the same time. It's just a lot. So I need something that I can daily, so I want to make sure this thing is 100% reliable, running good before I take that thing apart, because I don't want to have an issue. I know that thing runs great. I'll never have a problem with that. But if I start messing with that and that thing's down and this thing breaks on me, I'm going to have a problem. Although I've never had a problem with this car, I think it's pretty reliable. I just want to work out all the kinks first. So in the tune here, I think I might mess around with some stuff, and I do tune with HTS, Honda Tuning Suite. So I have already pulled the tune off the car, the one that's currently on it. So this is my map here, and we can look at this in a couple different ways. 3D graph, which probably is going to be not looking so good. I think maybe a 2D graph would be better. Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, that's what our fuel curve looks like. I mean, I'm not a pro tuner. I just kind of put fuel where it needs it, try to work it on the wideband. But I haven't tried to see if the data logger is hooked up. Let me see. Yeah, can't connect. I think that this USB might have a slight problem in my laptop. And I think that maybe, yeah, I don't know. I really would like to get that running because that is going to help me a lot with tuning this thing, because I want to kind of watch where my timing's at. If it does break up, I want to see if it's a timing related issue. But I did want to go in here and pull some timing out of this thing because I think that I do have it a little bit spicy. So let me go into my low cam ignition, and I know I have about 18 degrees in it, all up in here. See, I have 16 and 18 degrees in it. I think I'm going to pull a bit of timing out of it. I think I might drop this down to you know, somewhere around 15. Yeah, I'm gonna decrease selection. So now we're 15.75, 17.75. Come down. I'm gonna bring it down to 15. I just want to be on the safe side here. I know that's kind of a lot. Let me see. I was at 18. Let me go down 16.5 here, 14.5 there. Okay, so yeah, on 10 pounds we'll be on 16.5 degrees, because I was talking to somebody and he said a lot about tuning on the dyno and how when they were running higher timing levels, the car wasn't really too happy. I may be running too much timing. It's only street tuned. I've never run it on a dyno. I know that's not ideal, but these cars are pretty stout. This thing's taking a beating. And you know, who knows? I do have a lot of blow by. I may have hurt the motor at one point or another, and this thing just cranks on like nobody's business. It does have a constant miss at idle, and I just, you know, it's always been like that since I had it. Even when I had it on the stock computer, I think it had that miss at idle. I think it was ever since I did the head gasket job. So it is possible that me decking the head gasket on it shaved down so much so that the motor's slightly out of time. And I was thinking about maybe getting an adjustable cam gear to try to figure that out and try to get it like timed a little bit better. And I think that might be the slight miss at idle. It runs great everywhere else, but that little miss at idle has always concerned me. But yeah, it doesn't really push coolant when I get in a boost or anything like that, so we have no head gasket issues. It does push a lot of oil, but I do have a pretty big ring gap. So I don't know if it's the ring gap or if it's, you know, that's just the nature of the big ring gap, or if that is more a cracked piston or a ringland that's messed up, and I'm just running it anyway. But don't really know until this thing blows up and grenades with catastrophic failure. I won't really know. I'm just going to continue to let it rip. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can mess with the cold start a little bit here. So this, I was able to get the thing to start data logging here. The engine coolant temperature is at around 100. I just had to turn the key on, dummy. I didn't have the key on. So now that the key's on, data logging is working, and this is plugged in even though this port is kind of janky. But I can see my intake air temperatures are around 86. And my engine coolant temperature is at 100. So I went in here to 104, and it was at 2600, so I brought it down to 2200 because I think it was kind of coughing on fuel. So I'm going to try to start it. If it doesn't start at all now, then maybe I'll dump some in. So I'm going to go ahead and try to upload this base ROM. And now that that's uploaded, let's see how it starts. I think that's better than it normally is, to be honest. Super rich now. I don't know if that's going to be like a post-startup thing. We got all of our fuel settings over here. Let's see. Yeah, post-startup at 104. This is a, I don't know what this value is. I think this adds fuel here. Maybe we'll make this like 10. We'll make this like 10. Okay. Instead, we'll upload that. And we'll go back to cranking fuel. That seemed to help, so let's go to 1900. And we will upload that too. Let's kill it. We'll see. Our engine coolant temperature is now at 114. So, let's see. 177. Let's go 20. Let's go 2000. We'll go to 1800. And 1200. We won't be up there ever, so we'll just leave it there. Okay, 2000. Yeah, alright. Let's upload that. Let's try to start it again and see where we're at with this thing. Oh, that helped a lot. That's a way, way, way better start. Okay, I'm happy about that. I always hated how this thing would crank forever. Now let's see what we're working with here. We pulled a little bit out of that, and we're looking much better in the post-startup too. So we are already looking at where we want to be at. So here comes that misfire. You can hear it just kind of pop, pop, pop. pops and bangs at idle, but it's not too bad. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. Air fuels are pretty rich, but I kind of run this thing a little bit rich at idle. I feel like it seems to run better, although I feel like I could bring the idle down. It is kind of high, but it does that high idle thing. I always wondered if I could get rid of that. Yeah, I was kind of wondering what was going on. Like when I start it in the morning, it kind of acts weird, and it kind of stumbles. So I'm not sure if there's something in here for the engine coolant temperature that, yeah, see ignition corrections here. I don't know if this is what's hurting me, this ignition corrections here. Maybe it's trimming a lot of timing and it's screwing me up. So I think I might actually zero these out, just to try to alleviate that issue here. See, on the other hand, pulling timing for this I think is ideal, but adding timing for these temperatures I think is where we're getting hurt here. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to try to zero those out for the ignition corrections and upload that, and hopefully now that doesn't mess with our ignition as much and we don't have that breakup when it's so cold. So I'm going to go try to rip it while it's cold and see if I still have that breakup. So that did seem to help. This thing was driving really well right off the bat, and I had no problems with it, even with that low coolant temperature there. So we'll see what it's like on a cold start tomorrow. Also, I think I fixed that ignition breakup problem. I think I definitely just had the plug wire was falling off. So I'm glad that I got that all set up there, and I think that's a good solution for it. So hopefully, maybe I'll just get some new plug wires for it. It's been a little while. I mean, granted, they shouldn't be out yet. I haven't done that many miles, but I have taken them off quite a few times, so maybe that's the problem. So I'll look into maybe some new spark plug wires, and we'll see if we can get something that clamps a bit better. But it seems like it's running pretty good. Yeah, I'm just going to continue to take a few rips, and we'll drive this thing around a little more. We'll take it for a little rip. So, car's running much better now that I messed with that. I also drained the catch can. The catch can is pretty full, and I think that might contribute to the odor that I have in the car. Because if I crack the driver's window, I seem to get like just this constant smell of like fumes, like gas and exhaust fumes, and I'm not sure if it's because I have leaks in my exhaust or what the issue is, but it's little things like that that kind of bug me, or little squeaks and little rattles and things like that I want to try to work out. Now that the car is pretty much done, for me it's time to work on those things, because there was always bigger things to work on for me than those little squeaks and rattles. But now that the car is pretty much complete, and I think it looks about what I want it to look like, and all the effort I put in is now there, I feel like it's now time to work on those little things, like the interior as well. The interior is something I want to work on too. So, I know you guys, probably a lot of you guys want me to push it and do other stuff with the motor, and maybe build the motor and stuff like that. And I do want to do that stuff, but at the same time, that's a lot of work, and I kind of have other ventures I want to pursue right now. And I'll come back to this thing, and I would love to do that with this thing eventually, but for the time being, I think I'm just going to stick to making this thing 100% like it sits. As long as the motor doesn't blow up, I'm not going to touch it. If the motor blows, it blows. I might even rebuild it with some more stock pistons, just because I know that it can take a beating. And as long as I get some good pistons, I'll go to the junkyard, pull an oil pan, yank some pistons out of a junkyard motor, slap them in here, see how she does, see if it goes. And if it does, I'll be happy. If it doesn't, we can always build it then. But it's worth it to me. So, the car's driving much better. I'm enjoying it. I'll see if I can do a little rip for you guys here. Hopefully it all stays together. I haven't revved this thing out in a little while. I'm going to be watching the air fuels, but now's a good time to test it out, see what the tune's looking like. So I'm just going to hold third gear for a little bit. I'll do a little third gear rip once we get to a nice straighter location. But yeah, this thing feels good though. It feels planted. I feel like the handling is increased with these tires and the suspension. And I'm happy. Overall, I'm happy with all the modifications that I did. It's just fine tuning for now, you know. But yeah, the 5-lug conversion, I was unsure if it was worth it or not, but I think it is. Not only is it now, you know, rotor over hub instead of hub over rotor, which is so ridiculous. Also, I have rear discs, and I have more wheel options, which you know, obviously I can get them 4-lug, the RPF ones. You know, I understand that, but you know, 5-lug is just more stable, and in the future I have more options. And you know, I just think, why would you want to have a wheel held on with 4 lugs? It just doesn't seem like enough to me, especially when you're, you know, doing ridiculous stuff. You know, say you lose 1, then you got 3. You got 3 lug nuts. That's sketchy. You know, 5 is a much better number. Car, whatever you're driving. So we'll go into third gear here. See if we get a little rip going on. Look pretty good too, guys. So, you know, that was good. That was a good rip. I hit rev limiter and everything. So, gotta make sure I don't run out of road, you know. But yeah, this car gets down. This thing feels like it's on rails. It's so nice. Even doing 50, 60 miles an hour on a back road. Drives good, guys. It's fun. I haven't pushed it hard in the tight corners, but I am now, and it's really, it likes it. Not a lot of body roll at all. That guy almost just drove into me. But yeah, honestly, the tires feel amazing. So I made a couple more tweaks here and there to the tune, and I'm going to do what I do every time. File, save as, and I'm going to save it as the date, 5-11-21, and that is in HTS Tunes 2020 I have. Let me make a new folder, HTS 2021 Tunes. And we're going to save it in there. And save that as our first tune of 2021. I haven't tuned this thing in quite a while. So there we go. There's our tune. And every time I open it up, I load the tune from the vehicle, and I will make my modifications, and then I will proceed to continue to modify, and if I do have a problem, I can always delete everything I did for the day. So that's how I keep from messing it up, and I keep a bunch saved as backups. You know, they're all saved in sequentially in all the dates, so I know, oh, I know it was running good a week ago. Let me go back to a week ago. The changes that I made, I can revert that. So that's how I always make changes. I try to figure things out. I just messed with the timing a bit. The GoPro's probably going to die on me right now, but I messed with the timing. I advanced it a bunch at idle to try to boost the idle a bit, as opposed to having the idle air control valve. And I'm hoping, I don't know, that helps it idle better without having so much idle air control. I'm not really sure. Just kind of messing around with it. It still idles around 1,000. I'd like for it to idle lower and not have that miss and not be stumbling. I think I could probably try, but I'll mess with it at a later date. I think that's good for now. I got some nice pictures and took it for a nice ride. And I know that everything is working. Everything is functioning very well. I do want to check tire pressures. I haven't checked them since I set it, and a few other things. I got a brake noise in the back, but I'm just going to pick away at these little things here, but a little bit at a time. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the finished product. I know I am. This thing is really a joy to drive, and I feel like everybody's looking at me, and I love it. It's awesome. But thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. I'll post another video soon. It'll be more interesting. Hopefully we'll get some out of the car shots, and you guys can see me rip. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Peace. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and check out more of my videos. I have the whole process online.